Danny Glover is an actor. He has epilepsy. And do you know Harriet Tubman had epilepsy, and Socrates had epilepsy.
And 23-year-old Corey Tucci has epilepsy, and he wants to get rid of the stigma attached to the condition.
When you hear the word epilepsy or seizure, it's not always the type where you fall to the ground and shake, which is called the grand mal. There's multiple different types of them out there.
An epilepsy is a condition in which a person has repeated seizures. Sometimes they're fairly obvious, and sometimes it's a little more complicated. About 1 in 26 people will be diagnosed with epilepsy at some point in their lives.
It can happen to anybody at any point, and a lot of times through a traumatic brain injury. These veterans coming back from war, they could be susceptible to seizures. Somebody in a sports injury or a car accident, and it's going to affect more and more of the population. And again, to take away the stigma of it and to be more sympathetic and empathetic to people who, they're just like anybody else.
There definitely does need to be more awareness to epilepsy.
And not to judge people, and it's just a chronic illness.
And Corey's symptoms were not so clear at first, but they began when he was just 9 years old.
He went through a series of not feeling well, feeling like he was going to vomit, have headaches, and then he would just sleep for long periods of time. And after a lot of different doctor visits and different possible diagnoses, we came up with that it was seizures. It's kind of like a short circuit in the brain. If you would figure like a light bulb that wasn't quite tightened into a socket, you see that flickering going on. And that's kind of what's happening at the time of a seizure. There's that electrical signal, and that's not quite making the right connection.
At his worst, Corey was getting 12 to 15 seizures a month. But his condition is better after having a device input into his brain about 2 years ago.
It's called VNS. It stands for vagus nerve stimulator. And they put this battery in your chest and they run a wire up and wrap it around the vagus nerve. And every few minutes, it stimulates the nerve in the person. And, it's supposed to keep them more controlled.
2.7 million people have epilepsy, and there are 50 million worldwide. The Tucci's want to make sure that those living with the condition have every opportunity to achieve their goals. They also want to clear up a disturbing misconception.
And there was this one woman that posted on there that she didn't know what to do for the holidays because she suffers with epilepsy, and her sister-in-law does not want to be around her because she says that the epilepsy, she's possessed. I was really, really shocked.
And epilepsy's effects can be tangible. That stigma can impair self-esteem, bringing anxiety and depression, which affects lifestyle and sleep. The Tucci's want people to have empathy and not to judge. And Corey, he's overcome tremendous obstacles, and through it all, he sees the positive and maintains a great sense of humor.
Since I have parts of my brain missing, I like to try to make a joke out by saying I have part of my hard drive missing. I'm battery powered.